which was detained earlier this month pending an investigation by the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, and the police has been released. The police in a statement said the investigation had been completed and submitted for legal advice, which was later obtained. The investigating unit comprised senior officers from CANU, the CID, the GDF and the GCCA, along with the airport management and security officials. According to the police, the consultant, Mr. Michael Brassington, the pilots and a senior official of the Venezuelan embassy, acting on behalf of the detained men, cooperated during the process. The police also said the data plate was subsequently located by the investigators along with the logbook, which indicated that the aircraft had been in use since 2014. The body of a West Coast Berbice man washed up at number 30 Village foreshore on Wednesday morning. According to reports, the man had fallen overboard following a crab hunting expedition with his wife on Tuesday. Royan Abrams reports.
The man has been identified as 49-year-old Heron Anthony of number 29 Village, West Coast Berbice. On Tuesday, Anthony and his wife left home to go hunt for crabs at the Trafalgar Sluice, which leads into the Atlantic Ocean. His wife, Alicia Sears, told the NCN News that on their return, her husband decided to stop by the sluice to wash the mud off his skin when he slipped and fell overboard.
But his skin was full of mud. So he said, "You're going to go wash his foot." I said, "Man, don't go wash your foot." He said, "Man, you just wash up your foot." And he go over. So when he go over, I said, "When you're all right, you want me to hold you?" He said, "No, you're all right." He said, "Be careful." And I said, "Be careful." He slightly later, I said, "All right." He said, "Yeah." He went overboard. That was all. I can't remember. Nothing more.
Sears said she alerted the sluice operator, who tried to assist in getting her husband to shore, but by that time he had already disappeared under the water. The Coast Guard was also informed and they arrived on the scene but could not locate the man.
People went down, Coast Guard, whoever went down looking for him, and they did not find him until this morning. I get a message that they find him.
Anthony has left to mourn his wife and child. Reporting for the NCN News, I am Royan Abrams.
2 mining vessels referred to as draggers have been intercepted by the Region 10 administration. The incident occurred over the weekend behind the Watuka guest house as it reassembled after passing the Mackenzie-Wismer Bridge. The police were called in. Chairman Rennis Morian on Tuesday said the 2 vessels were heading to Kumapari Creek to begin gold and diamond mining. The chairman said he had obtained a document from the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission granting a river permit for mining in the Demerara River. Efforts to solicit a comment from the GGMC have been in vain. There are environmental concerns over the use of the draggers. GWS Regional Manager Rolf Friday, who was part of the team that intercepted the vessel, said mining would directly impact service from 3 of its water treatment plants in the Demerara River. We will keep you updated on this story as developments become available. Now, some 40 Guyanese men are being trained to work in the oil and gas sector. This was confirmed by Natural Resources Minister Raphael Trotman.
Colonel Johnson of IFLUC, West Bank, Demerara, and Dexter Black of New Amsterdam Berbice are among a group of 40 men participating in the week-long marine riggers training. Aspects of the training are being done at the Regency Suites here in Georgetown, Guyana.
I'm a seaman. I work with Royal Caribbean already, and I feel that this is where I want to be, like for a couple of years, knowing that Guyana could be an oil resource place. So definitely this is my field.
Today training I feel is very conducive to the new work environment because you don't want no risk, no accident, like people getting injured on the job and so forth.
Main facilitator and health and safety coordinator at Edison West Offshore, Eldon Thompson, said the majority of the participants have experiences in seamanship, which is somewhat of an advantage.
The oil and gas industry, well, I would have to say set a higher standard where safety is concerned. So the whole thing about this right now is to go through what these guys maybe already know and kind of tailor it into what is expected for the oil and gas industry, like the clients like the Exxon, the Repsol, whoever, to see what they need. So the training will be actually showing them safer ways to do things, even though they are accustomed to do it.
Thompson said the men will be exposed to safety features such as risk assessment, safe work policies, stop work authority, and permit to work. This is the 5th and largest training session that has been conducted by Edison West Offshore in Guyana. The company currently has 6 supply vessels here that are supporting ExxonMobil's operations, with 3 more vessels expected in the country shortly as exploration efforts increase. Meanwhile, the men being trained will be added to the 50 already employed on the Edison West supply vessel fleet. Edison West Offshore also has plans to open a local office here as a means of expanding training opportunities for more locals. For the NCN News, Shanti Samuels.
Revision of the Petroleum Commission bill by Guyana's international partners has been completed. This was confirmed by Natural Resources Minister Raphael Trotman. Here are details.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman says a revised Petroleum Commission bill will be laid in the National Assembly shortly. He says criticisms of the bill were taken into consideration when it was recently subjected to a review by the country's international partners.
We have since had the World Bank do a study of it, and they made recommendations, and then we'd ask them to go beyond the recommendations and help us to recraft the bill. They've done so. They've sent it back within the last 7 days, and so we can check again that we are having legislation that is both responsive to national concerns and as well meets international best practices.
The minister, who has oversight responsibility for the oil and gas sector, says a number of other key legislations will be laid in the National Assembly soon. These bills, he added, will add value to Guyana's emerging oil and gas sector.
Well, the Commonwealth Secretariat has been helping us, and they have done an update of our Petroleum Act, which is a 1986 act. That is complete. We've also received from the Commonwealth regulations for health and safety for labor practices, which I've sent to the Ministry of Social Protection. We've received regulations for environmental practices, best environmental practices. We sent that as well. We have regulations in place for local content, but we thought that before we go to regulations for local content, we should finalize a policy. So all of that is in the making and being done simultaneously. So,
commenting on the draft Sovereign Wealth Fund, Trotman says he's confident that it will bring good to Guyana. According to the minister, the fund meets all of what is known as the Santiago Principles, which promote transparency, good governance, accountability, and prudent investment practices. For the NCN News, Shanti Samuels.
Away from oil and gas, opposition leader GUYANESE has expressed disgust at the unfair characterization by Guyanese by some developed countries. He was responding to the New York Times article which described this country as backward. We get details from Tracy Romalo.
So I do believe about the unfair characterization of Guyana and Guyanese. Often they would look for the worst pictures of our country and put it in their articles.
The opposition leader was speaking during his weekly media conference on Wednesday. He acknowledged that, like every developing nation, there are problems. However, this country, he added, has made tremendous progress over the years.
Because I do believe that many journalists from the developed world come here with the sole purpose of making us look like backwater countries, and that we are on the precipice of civil war and ethnic conflagration. When we have in our country greater stability than those countries from which many of them come from.
At the weekend, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan described the article as erroneous, adding that a bright future is being crafted. He has since urged all Guyanese to reject the article. Tracy Romalo for NCN News.
Welcome back. The Private Sector Commission has lauded a dialogue between President David Grange and opposition leader Jagdeo. The PSC also expressed its appreciation to President Jimmy Carter for his role in encouraging this conversation. The president met with Mr. Jagdeo last week at State House to discuss the appointment of the Public and Police Service Commissions. Now, the African Business Roundtable earlier in the day held a forum aimed at improving business opportunities for people of African descent. The details come from Arifa Bakas.
In observance of the International Decade of People of African Descent, the African Business Roundtable on Wednesday hosted a business conference aimed at improving small businesses. President of the Business Roundtable, Eric Phillips, noted that the conference provided the opportunity for business owners to begin the process of becoming compliant with business regulations.
The National Decade Secretariat, they've invited small and young entrepreneurs and people who have budding businesses to come here today to hear about the steps they should take to make sure that they're successful. Many of these companies haven't registered. Many don't have TIN. Many don't have NIS. So as you look around here, you'll see different ministries, different departments of ministries. You see Go Invest, see the Ministry of Communities, you see Small Business Bureau, there you see GRA.
This activity is not exclusive to Georgetown and will be taken to other areas across the country.
There's one in Linden, a similar one, on Saturday the 28th, and then there is one in Rose Hall in Berbice in mid-August. But it's all about the decade. Guyana is one of the signatories to that convention, and hopefully when this decade is over, the African Guyanese community would be better organized economically.
Phillips indicated that the conference will place emphasis on meeting the business requirements necessary for accessing financing in order to improve the businesses. For the NCN News, Arifa Bacchus.
School volunteers are to assist the Education Ministry with learning at primary schools across the country. They will provide support in areas such as literacy, science, health, and family life education. Tracy Romalo has details.
A memorandum of understanding signaling this undertaking was signed between the Ministry of Education and the Peace Corps Guyana on Wednesday. Subject Minister Nicolette Henry said the MOU serves to strengthen capacity and capability of this country's school system. Minister Henry added that the work of the Peace Corps is aligned with her ministry's new sector plan for education.
We will also be able to engage in primary literacy and environmental projects. And we will work together to achieve the Ministry of Education's mission to provide an education system that delivers quality education and training at all levels.
The volunteers will provide support in areas such as primary literacy, health and family life education, and primary science. Peace Corps Guyana Country Director Curry Cobham added that the Peace Corps volunteers will be placed in all regions with the exception of Region 8.
Education volunteers will serve in primary literacy as primary literacy promoters, where they will work with grades 1 through 4, teaching children to read, enhancing the learning environment, and supporting parents and caregivers.
Witnessing the signing was U.S. Ambassador Perry Holloway, who noted that a sound education is important, especially as this country prepares to harness the opportunities in the oil and gas sector. The ambassador added that the U.S. will continue to support the Education Ministry and the government as a whole. Tris Romalo for NCN News.
Well, 3 have been charged with break and enter of Chinese store and cell phone thief granted $50,000 bail. Nakasi Logan brings you the details of these and more from inside the courts.
3 men who were today charged with breaking and entering a Chinese store have been placed on $75,000 bail each. 36-year-old Paul Roberts, a clothes vendor of Plaisance, 44-year-old Troy Holmes, a handyman of South Rheinveld, and 41-year-old Martin Murray, a mobile vendor of Charlotte Street, Lazytongue, all appeared before Magistrate Fabio Azor in the Georgetown Magistrates Court. It is alleged that between July 20 and 21 at Lot 47 Alexander and Regent Streets, they broke and entered the store of Zhao Hongfu and stole 100 school bags and other items valued in total at $4.6 million. They all pleaded not guilty and will make their next court appearance on August 15, 2018. Junior Sayers, a maintenance worker of Soesdijk Linden, has been charged for theft. It is alleged that on July 18 at Alberton, he stole a Samsung J7 phone valued at $89,999, property of Latoya Gomes. He was granted $50,000 bail after appearing before Magistrate Fabio Azor and ordered to return to court on August 15. And finally, a man who was slapped with 2 charges, damage to property and threatening language, has been placed on bail. The court was told that 33-year-old Anthony Marshall on July 21 at 145 5th Street, Alberton, damaged the window property of Diana Oxford. The second charge read that on the day in question, he used threatening language towards Diana Oxford, thus breaching the peace. To the charge, he pleaded not guilty and was granted $25,000 bail by magistrate Fabio Azor. Nacasia Logan, NCN News.
We've got more news after the break. Stay with us. Dreams of most people is to own their own home. This dream was realized for 26 families in Berbice who received the keys to their own home from Food for the Poor Guyana. We get the details from Roy and Abrams.
The $1.3 million two-bedroom houses are fully self-contained and are provided free of cost to the recipients. In addition to new houses, the families receive tables, chairs, gas stoves, and other amenities, as well as pedal cycles and solar panels for those who do not have access to electricity. Project manager Andrea Benjamin says Food for the Poor is committed to ensuring that every family, regardless of their economic status, have adequate housing. She says the organization is proud to be associated with the positive impact this project will have on the beneficiaries.
Our houses and all of our supporting items to these families are free of cost. They come of no cost to the beneficiaries. And all we ask for as a signal of your appreciation is for you to care and maintain your home.
In the last 10 months, Food for the Poor has built 74 homes for families across Berbice. And according to the CEO, Kent Vincent, this is not the end of their work in the county.
We've done shade houses, we've distributed farming tools, farming equipment, tillers, hoes, cutlasses, all the different type of farming equipment. And on our projects, we have agro-processing projects, beef projects, animal husbandry, dealing with sheep, cows, poultry projects, pig rearing projects, both for communities, resource centers. We just keep going.
Over the years, Food for the Poor Guyana has completed over 3,000 homes for families in regions 1, 2, 4, and 5. Reporting for the NCN News, I am Ryan Abrams.
Now, the importance of youth participation to the Caribbean advancements is being pressed at the ongoing Caribbean Forum on Youth Population and Development. The forum is expected to contribute to creating synergies between youth policies and broader development frameworks. We get the details from Marifa Bacchus.
Youths need to play their part in the creation of policies for development, as they will play an integral role in the advancement of the Caribbean's future. This was emphasized by Minister of Social Cohesion with Responsibility for Youth, Dr. George Norton.
It is time for our youths to shine, to share their experiences, to nurture hope for better future. And some might even say, challenge conventional wisdom in proposing practical solutions that...
Addressing the Caribbean Forum on Youth Population and Development on Tuesday, Minister Norton said that in this regard, his ministry is committed to the meaningful participation of youths at all levels of decision-making. This, he says, should be done at the regional level as well.
Here is that opportunity to design a Caribbean youth platform for the Sustainable Development Goals. Our regional youth programs have made it abundantly clear that youths of the Caribbean are as vibrant as ever before.
Dr. Norton stated that an effort to chart a fresh course to prosperity involving young people must be made. For the NCN News, Arifa Bacchus.
Now, the diaspora engagements remain important to pushing Guyana's developmental agenda. So says the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Carl Greenidge. Shanta Samuels explains.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge said engagements with the diaspora are continuing to bear much fruit. Speaking at a news conference recently at his South Road office, he said he has met with a number of diaspora businesses that are eager to provide technical assistance to Guyana.
I'm satisfied that a number of these can be of assistance, and that information has been or is being passed both to the university, the Guyana Technical Institute, the Ministry of Business and the Ministry of Agriculture, for them to follow up with these persons and groups so that they can collaborate and make use of the information that is being provided.
Based on his engagement with some multinational companies abroad, Grenade said the country can now be exposed to some of the best training opportunities in the world.
NCR, for example, has an interest in assisting in providing software as well as hardware that will facilitate a number of the things that we are doing on the finance and banking side, in the management of ministries and so forth.
NCR is a global leader in developing transformational transaction technologies, including online banking. Meanwhile, turning his attention to the oil and gas sector, the minister is appealing to Guyanese, both here and in the diaspora, to become specialists in the sector. He urged that they evaluate the level of skills that are needed and equip themselves to take advantage of the opportunities. The minister said if at this point of the country's development this is not their thinking, then they stand the possibility of being overlooked for jobs in the sector. For the NCN News, Shanza Samuels.
Well, stay with us. We've got more details in the Diamond Mineral Water and NCN Sport News after these messages. Head Mayan Rothman Powell will rebuild the West Indies innings against Bangladesh up at the Providence Stadium. Sent into bat, the home side got off to a shaky start before Hetty Meyer eventually out for 125 and Rothman Powell 44 steadied their innings. They have set the tourists a target of 272 runs for victory in the day-night affair. Bangladesh is 1-0 up in the 3-match series. Well, earlier, Chris Gale made 29 and Shea Hope made 25. Now, the Guyana Cricket Board, Cricket West Indies and Scotiabank are continuing their drive towards the development of the game. At the first ODI on Sunday between West Indies and Bangladesh, junior cricketers got a chance to get in on the action at the National Stadium out at Providence. GCP Secretary Anand Sanasi spoke of some of the initiatives.
The program itself that we run locally and across the region is divided into 3 distinct categories. That is the Cricket Festival, the Summer Camp, and what you just saw out here, the International Display.
The program also helps players identify the need for holistic development.
The Cricket Festival engages schools from across the country. However, for the Summer Camp, that is where we engage the best of the kids, and that's a period during which the training is specifically designed to transition from softball to hardball.
Meanwhile, cricket camps at the Albion Community Centre in Berbice on the West Damara Zeeburg ground opened earlier in the day, with another at Imam Baka's ground in Esquivel set for July 27. Away from cricket, Ghana's men's squash team of Sunil Seth, Jason Ray Khalil and Nyron Joseph have reached the quarter-final round of the Central American and Caribbean Games. The trio defeated Panama 3-0 in the first of their pool matches and lost to Colombia by a similar margin on Tuesday. The pool round is a round-robin format. Earlier on Wednesday, Ghana lost to Jamaica 2-1 to determine the final round-robin placings. They're, however, through to the quarter-final round as the top 3 teams in each pool advance. In women's team competition, Ashley Khalil, Mary Fangafat and Taylor Finance of Ghana lost to Barbados 2-1 on Tuesday. They will miss out on the medal after losing out against Colombia on Wednesday 3-0. The Ruggers, the Green Machine 7 squad departed earlier on Wednesday, headed for Colombia to take part in the Central American and Caribbean tournament. The 2-day event begins on August 1st. Travis Seymour reports.
The side will be under the direction of coach Lawrence Adonis and features Ryan Gonzalez, Dwayne Schooner as captain, Claudius Butts, Peebo Hamilton, Rundle MacArthur, Godfrey Brooms, Ozio McKenzie, Ronald Mears, Patrick King, Richard Staglin, Avery Corbin and Jamal Angus. Schooner said that his side will put in all on the field with the aim of rewriting the wrong of their last Regional Sevens campaign.
Facing Jamaica in this tournament is so nice. We don't see that as a revenge game, so we love to play them back again in the finals. Well, the weather hampers in preparation, but with the willpower, we got strong-hearted, so we know with the little work we're going to really team gel and meet over there and get a better weather. We can push some more works. But so far, I'm comfortable with the work I've been putting over here.
Head coach Lawrence Adonis believes the team can go all the way.
We have
a bunch of experienced players that is experienced at that level. So we expect these guys to really come through for us and bring the younger players that we have in along with them. Over the last 2 weeks, we were able to get in a good amount of practice, and the guys started to look the part. But we still got some pieces to fix in, like the 3 guys we have down in Trinidad. So when we get over there, we have a few days before, so we could get ourselves settled and organized to go on the D-Day.
The team won their first CSC title in 2010 at the National Stadium Providence when they defeated Jamaica. The Green Machine are, however, gunning for the Jamaicans in Colombia after the boys from Jamtown snapped Guyana's 7-year winning streak at the Rugby America Sevens Championship last year. Travis Seymour for NCN Sport.
Also winging out today was the track and field athletes Emmanuel Archibald and national javelin record holder Leslin Baird. Baird told NCN that he is fit and ready for the challenges that the games present. He last claimed silver at the Senior South American Championship this year.
We're confident going to this competition. I'm hoping to get my ranking up. I'm ranked number 5th going to this competition. I'm going there to get a medal. But my personal goal is to get over the 80-meter barrier. I don't care what position I get. If I get over the 80, it will be a big plus for me. But at the same time, I'm going to get a medal for Guyana.
The team will be led by coach Sham Johnny, who said the duo that he is accompanying will definitely make a mark once they execute their game plan.
Well, for Leslin, I must say he have been growing from strength to strength, and there is a plus for him. But the international stage, we hope that Leslin become one of the bright shining stars for Guyana at this moment. Well, for Emmanuel, basically, is a little mental challenge, because we know for a fact recently he have been doing well locally, but when he get to the elite stage, he kind of break down mentally. We hope that this trip around, well, we get a positive result from him.
To football now. The Guyana Girls Academy football camp is being run for another year. They're hoping to develop the female game. Nacasia Logan reports.
A total of 40 girls are a part of the camp, with most from Georgetown and Linden. The Guyana Girls Academy's GGA 4-day camp is geared towards giving young girls the insight of working with an elite coaching staff in a professional environment, both on and off the field.
During the 4 days, we have a number of local coaches here who are going to help out working with dribbling technique, passing technique, shooting technique, a little bit of defending. We'll probably do a little introduction to goalkeeping. So we want to cover all the technical bases of the game so everybody has an introduction. And then the older girls who've been playing for a while, we can kind of push them and get to a higher level of football.
Football coach Colin Wilson hopes the academy will be able to ignite interest in the sport. Among the objectives, enhancing the pool of female footballers for the national makeup.
We're hoping to bring more girls into the game of football so they can make friends and create a love for the sport. And we're also hoping that when they leave here, we can put them on a local team in their community so they can continue to play, and the skills and number of girls playing football in Guyana raises so that the level of competition is better when it's ready for us to form a national program.
The GGA is a non-profit girls football initiative aimed at developing, training and educating females so that they can compete at the collegiate, professional and international levels. The camp that ends on July 27 caters for girls 7 to 17 years. Nacasia Logan, NCN Sport.
Now, the historic men's basketball team, which recently won the Caribbean title, is to be honored this weekend. Basketball president Nigel Hines said the accomplishment is a watershed moment in history and is the crowning achievement in his sport career as a player and administrator.
Guyana played unbeaten to claim the FIBA America Cup pre-qualifiers Caribbean title. Nigel Hines said that the context is needed to understand the magnitude of what the national team accomplished.
In 2015, we brought last place in British Virgin Islands. And I think we brought 5th in 2014. And now to go and win it all unbeaten is unheralded. We see Caricom Basketball Championships as the flagship event for basketball in Guyana, for both our men and women. Our women had the good fortune to win in 1986.
Hines said the work of the different associations in youth basketball Guyana provided a platform for the team's success. The JBF head announced over a month ago that each player and officials on the team would be rewarded with $100,000.
Mere handshakes and photographs and thank yous. We have a lot of persons who are striving to make a decent living for their families that are playing on the team. And we always feel that we should be able to give back to them. And I wrote something in the media asking for like duty-free concessions at the medium for cars, and I went into a number of other areas. But that is one that doesn't cost the government.
Cali defeated Antigua 83-70 in the finals with Captain Stanton Rose scoring 23 points, while Ray Victor chipped in with 13. Travis Seymour for NCN Sport.
Well, that's it. We've come to the end of